new era for American cricket began in 2021.
There he goes into a dive! What a catch!
The rise of cricket was celebrated across the country. Now, with big wickets and even bigger hits, the stars of minor league cricket are back and better than ever.
Primus goes huge!
Don't miss the nation's largest league competing for the biggest prize in American cricket. The Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship returns June 25th.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.
wickets as we are just beginning the third over of today's matchup between the Golden State Grizzlies and the Silicon Valley Strikers in 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket, fueled by Sunoco. I'm Joe Hickey. Pleasure to be with you here this afternoon. Apologize for some of the technical issues getting ourselves up and running today, but we'll get you caught up just as soon as we can. It is now Shivam Mishra partnering Sammy Aslam. Aslam, the one at the crease, facing deliveries from Kulvinder Singh. The first over, a very tight one from Kulvinder Singh. He gave up one run to Sammy Aslam and a leg by to the other opener, Karan Chandel. You'll notice he's not there anymore. Very short day for Chandel as he faced USA International Saurabh Netravalkar in the second over after a quartet of leg bys and his first official run off the bat of the match. He was dismissed bowled clean by the 30-year-old American by way of Mumbai. He has now been replaced by Shivam Mishra, and that wicket coming at 8 for 1. This opening partnership has had its struggles trying to fire here for the Golden State Grizzlies this season. Sammy Aslam, in particular, has seen some struggles just getting out of the first over at certain times. That one, shout for leg before. Nothing given here. And so 4 balls into this third over. It remains 12 for 1. Sammy Aslam still there at the crease. Shivam Mishra got himself off the mark quickly with a 4 immediately following Karan Chandel's wicket. But Sammy has had his struggles this season, as I was saying, just getting out of the first over. So already a bit of good news for him that he's still out there even with his partner gone as he runs that down to third man. He picked up by the protection at the boundary. One ball left in the frame. A warm but windy day here at Morgan Hill, and admittedly not warm by the general standards of Morgan Hill, California. 87 degrees at the moment, but if you can believe such a thing as a wind chill, the real feel, 83 degrees at the moment, as a wind is going from right to left across Kulvinder Singh and the pitch from the angle you see it. Swing and a miss there from Shivam Mishra, and that is going to do it for the third over. We finished that one up halfway through the power play, 13 for 1. Saurabh Netravalkar continuing from the Barrett Avenue end of our ground here at the Morgan Hill Outdoor Sports Complex. He'll be bowling at Sammy Aslam on strike. So far for Sammy, 7 runs off of 10 deliveries rather. Has managed to work 1 boundary. My apologies, I think I attributed the boundary earlier to Shivam Mishra. He is still waiting to get off the mark as that one's worked over to point. Single to start the over for Aslam. Golden State Grizzlies coming in at 5-4 on the season. They've lost 4 of their last 6, including an absolute heartbreaker on our airwaves last weekend against the East Bay Blazers up in Davis. That one has put their opportunities of making the postseason here out of the Western Division on life support. And that life support is going to require them to get a victory here. We'll tell you a little bit about what it would take to get Golden State to the playoffs and what that would change to as, boy, oh boy, Saurabh Netravalkar, good 4th stump line, a wise leave as it works out for Shivam Mishra at the crease. But a bit of a scary one there potentially as it whistled by. So but suffice it to say, it's already a very uphill climb for the Grizzlies if they want to participate in the postseason in 3 weeks' time. And it gets that much more uphill if they can't, well, do something no one's done yet, which is beat these Silicon Valley Strikers coming in at 10-0. Good line and length there. Mishra just able to tap it to mid-on. Take a quick single. And that's got Shivam Mishra off the mark on the 4th ball he's faced. This Silicon Valley team currently riding a 13-match winning streak dating back to last season's playoffs. They took a loss in the middle game in Austin of the first-round series and have been perfect ever since, including 10-0. They could just about sew up, mathematically, a playoff spot today with a victory. And they play again tomorrow against those East Bay Blazers, the other team here, as we'll finish up the NorCal round robin. And a win today and a win tomorrow would sew up the division. And there goes Sammy Aslam. Sarab Netravalkar's got his second opener, clean bowled of the match. He has sent Timber tumbling, and it is desperate stuff right now for the Golden State Grizzlies. Again, the opening partnership not able to fire. They had their struggles as well 6 days ago up in Davis. Bit of a far cry from what we saw when these two teams faced off before, but another just spectacular ball bowled in from Sarab Netravalkar as we try to pull up our replays here. I don't think I actually have it up and running, but I'll fix that eventually for myself. But you're getting a good look at it, and that is all for Aslam. He departs with 8 runs to his name, 1-4. Took 12 balls to get it. We'll take a quick break and introduce you to the new man at the crease when we come back. 15 for 2. New man at the crease is going to be Malik Junaid in at 4. Just his third innings of the season. He has been pretty useful in the 2 matches he's played. He's faced San Diego Surf Riders twice. Once on the opening weekend and another outing during the first weekend here at Morgan Hill in week 3 of the season. He's got 71 runs scored for 50 balls faced, rather. Nearly had himself a half century in his season debut against San Diego, coming in at 5, although he did have 3 thick edges that went for 4, really riding his luck pretty much the whole way. Was dismissed for 22 off 16 last time, and boy, oh boy, Netravalkar forcing him to pull the bat back and avoid picking up one of those edges straight back to Rahul Jadiwala behind the stumps. Another effective over so far for Sarab Netravalkar. Thus far has picked up 2 wickets, conceded 4 singles, and a leg-by boundary. And you can see here the unusual T20 slip cordon, Suri and Graham both at slip. That one right back at Netravalkar. He snags it. And I must imagine by the reaction that was a bump ball, but it came at him so quickly. And Netravalkar needs a moment. That one pinging off of his bowling hand, the left hand, very, very hard. Turning to our own replay to get a look at it, that is not the wicket of Malik Junaid, no matter what it looked like for a split second there. It is instead a dot ball to end the over, 15 for 2 through 4.
1, 2, 3.
2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championships presented by Sunoco and, of course, brought to you by title sponsor Toyota. Let's go places. For the Golden State Grizzlies, the place they'd like to go is to a slightly higher run rate, and eventually, courtesy of that, a position in the playoffs. First delivery from Raymond Reefer is a wide, back behind the legs of the man on strike, Shivam Mishra. Partnered at the moment by Malik Junaid, as we mentioned at the start here, just recapping where we've gone so far. Both openers dismissed already. Sami Aslam for 8, clean bowled by Saurabh Netravalkar in the 4th over. And then 2 overs before that, also clean bowled by Saurabh Netravalkar. Karan Chandel gone for a single run. Contributed 5 leg bys, but those don't help your strike rate. That one worked to square leg off the left-handed bat of Shivam Mishra. That is where the protection is, along with third man at the moment in the deep. So that'll just be a single. So the first we're getting a look at Raymond Reefer in today's match, 31-year-old Bajan, 15 wickets on the season, taking them at an average of a little under 15 runs per. His economy of 8, a little bit better in the power play, a little bit worse at the death. Tends to do most of his work in those 2 high leverage times, though. Strike rate of 1 wicket every 10.4 balls, 7th best in minor league cricket. That one gets a piece of the pads, but looks like height would have been the issue on that one. No leg before given. Bit of a weak-hearted appeal, if we're being honest. Malik Junaid still looking to get off the mark, 3 balls into his stay at the crease. A lot of left-handed firepower in the arsenal of Captain Unmuk Chand. We already saw Kulvinder Singh and Saurabh Netravalkar, and Singh was very instrumental in keeping this team afloat while Netravalkar was out on international duty. He and Reefer became the opening bowlers. That one sprayed and will split the fielders on the cover side of things, and that's going to be the first boundary off the bat. And that's how Malik Junaid gets underway, and no real surprise that that would be his methodology for it. Junaid among the more attacking batsmen in all of the league. At least during the time when I was keeping track of that, watching every game like a hawk, attacked 78% of the balls that were bowled at him. The thing with him is he is somebody, as we mentioned, who rides his luck, especially against pace bowling. Roughly 1 out of every 4 balls leads to a false shot, like this one, straight up. Is anyone going to get there? Looks like it'll fall in no man's land between Graham and Chand. So we mentioned he rides his luck a little bit. That one straight up the chute. Of course, best time to do that is likely in the power play. It was a little bit of a different field for Malik Junaid. If that had been a Shivam Mishra shot, you have to imagine that Chand would have been inside the circle and they might have actually had a chance at that one. For Mishra, they've got the deep protection at third man, back behind him and to the offside, and at square leg. But Unmuk Chand was deep for Malik Junaid, knowing the way he likes to extend the arms. Push to point, looking to take a quick single. Chance at the striker's end, but the direct hit does not come off. Malik Junaid able to scamper home. Mishra looking to keep the strike rotating and keep Malik Junaid swinging while he's hot. Mishra, for his part, as of late, has been the middle overs glue that has held together a few of the Golden State Grizzlies innings. They batted first a week ago over in Davis against the East Bay Blazers and were in a world of hurt in the power play. Came out of that at 26 for 3. Junaid works that one to the onside, just a little bit behind square. That'll be a single to finish things up. We'll tell you about what Shivam Mishra's been up to when we come back. 24 for 2.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Oh, yeah! Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom.
Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
.24 for 2 as we hit the final over of the power play. It's going to be Roshan Primus, the first right-handed pace to come into action in this match, and he'll be facing off with Malik Junaid, who took a single to finish the last over. Junaid, 32-year-old Pakistani, is the lone change in either lineup today compared to what these teams ran out in their last outings. He enters in place of Ruchir Joshi, so clearly a thought in favor of sacrificing a little bit of bowling in favor of the potential for a lot of hitting. And knowing the way that the Silicon Valley Strikers have hit the last handful of matches, sounds like it could be a wise decision. Silicon Valley has put up totals over 200 on 3 occasions already, although last weekend, to remain undefeated up at Seattle, it was their bowling that had to be special, and maybe we're seeing a little bit of carryover from that here. Last weekend at Seattle on the brand new turf wicket, it was a bowler's paradise. Silicon Valley managed just 130 runs in the matchup on Saturday and were bowled out for 94 on Sunday and somehow defended both totals to earn victories. Good start for Roshan Primus, burying that one in. Junaid forced to work it to the onside and try to live to fight another ball. Roshan Primus, 26-year-old Bajan, rapidly approaching his 27th birthday. Big swing by Junaid. Looks like he must have gotten some sort of piece of that. There'll be a second dot to start for Prime. Primus 7 wickets on the season, 37 runs per. His economy as of late has left a bit to be desired, but he has had a talent for breaking up partnerships. Unfortunately for him, that economy leads to his impact stats, as calculated by Tom Nielsen, not looking great. Compared to an average bowler, given the workload he's had, he's given up about 77 extra runs. He and Singh in particular had struggled in the power play, and so maybe a chance to get back on the right side. Heaven knows Kulvinder Singh looked great in the power play with the 2 overs that he had. That one's skidding a bit on the surface, gets under the bat of Junaid. Third dot on the run to start. Primus, when these teams last met, bowled 3 overs, 41 runs given up from it. He did pick up 1 wicket. Got Sohan Bhatt on the final ball of the innings. One of the few costly bowlers in a chase that went very well. Looks like he may have picked up Junaid. There goes the finger. Tipped straight back to Rahul Jadiwala. Worth noting there, Jadiwala among the... Actually, I think that is going to put him now into second place for most caught behinds at 8 on the season. It is also the 8th wicket of the year for Roshan Primus, and it is the end of the day for Malik Junaid. He is going to depart with just 6 runs to his name. Not quite the contribution they were looking for in place of Ruchir Joshi. We'll tell you about who's coming out next when we come back. 24 for 3. It's going to be Zia Shahzad in at 5 with the third wicket down, and we know, generally speaking, what that third wicket down often means to chances of victory. They start disappearing in a hurry, and especially with just 24 runs to their name, this is threatening to be an even more disastrous power play than the one 6 days ago up at Arroyo Park. A reminder, that one eventually they pulled themselves out of the nosedive. They do still have Shivam Mishra there, and it was he and Zia Shahzad that authored the big partnership. Shahzad has struggled immensely this season, currently with an average of 13.3. Very first ball is ladled to the man at mid-on, and it's a first ball wicket. Pranay Suri making the catch. Roshan Primus, 1 ball away potentially from a double wicket maiden. 6 days ago, Zia Shahzad and Shivam Mishra put together a 117-run partnership. Today, their partnership lasts 1 ball and goes for naught. 24 for 4. 1 ball left in the power play. Hamad Azam coming out. We'll tell you about him on the other side of this break. Hamad Azam to the crease, and if the Golden State Grizzlies are going to put up a total capable of being defended against this high-power Silicon Valley Strikers batting lineup, it's going to probably depend on these two. Azam and Mishra do have a history together. Back over the July 4th weekend against the Michigan Cricket Stars, they put up what is still the biggest fourth wicket partnership in the league this season, 127 not out. To turn a game that was definitely turning in the wrong direction against a team that is very much in the hunt to go to the playoffs out of the Central Division into what turned out to be a walk. We were starting to mention that was the first of 200 partnerships for the fourth wicket that Shivam Mishra has been involved in. That one skating right by the off stump, a little bit over it. It is indeed a double wicket maiden for Roshan Primus to end the power play. 24 for 4, folks.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Golden State Grizzlies this season have batted first 5 times in their 9 matches. They are 3-2 when doing so, but they've averaged 170 in those cases, and they did lose their last time when batting first. That, of course, 6 days ago up in Arroyo Park. Golden State actually won the toss today and elected to bat. It's the 5th toss they've won and the 3rd time they've decided to bat first. For Silicon Valley, this is only going to be the 2nd time all year that they've chased a total. Raymond Reefer coming at you from the San Pedro end of the ground. That's going to be worked just a little bit fine of Pranay Suri, but not enough to get any run from it. Mishra and Azam now at the crease. Azam on the season, a little bit below the standard that he set for himself last year. Average of just a hair under 29. Mishra bats that back to Reefer. 2 dots to start the over. Strike rate of 153 balloons to 205 against pace bowling, though, so this may be the time that Unmuk Chan starts opting for the spinners. He has a few good ones in his repertoire. Pranay Suri, who has had fifers in 2 of his last 3 outings, along with Srini Raghavan. That one roped just to the side of the bowler. That's going to get to Primus over at long on. Single for Shivam Mishra as Golden State look to rebuild. So we mentioned that Golden State's playoff hopes hanging by a bit of a thread at the moment. In fact, I alluded to that thread being perhaps made out of spider silk after the loss to the East Bay Blazers. It will well and truly be made out of wet Kleenex if they fall today. Golden State right now, if they want to make the playoffs, probably have to win out at this point. If they do that, they do have 2 matchups with the Seattle Thunderbolts on the final weekend of the season. And Seattle so far is 1-3 against the Bay Area teams, so that could work out as a sweep. They've got 2 matches against the Southern California teams, SoCal Lashings and Hollywood Master Blasters in Week 7. So if they can get it done here today, you could certainly picture that happening. That would take care of them hopping Seattle because they would be providing Seattle with losses number 4 and 5. What they would need in order to qualify then is at least 1 East Bay loss, and then either for East Bay to lose one of their games against the SoCal teams or to have enough tight games that they wind up being able to hop them in net run rate. Dot ball on the first delivery to Hamad Azam from Raymond Reefer, but underneath the Multan Sultan's lid. So that's basically it. They need a little bit of help. They need East Bay to probably lose tomorrow, and then either fall one more time or play close enough games that they can make a jump in net run rate to win the tiebreaker. Azam looking to pull that one as the fielding restrictions have loosened, but it doesn't matter. He beats the 2 men out there by pulling it just backward of square leg. That'll be his first boundary, and Azam is off the mark. But needing to win out and get a little bit of help is what they would need if they take care of business today. If they lose today, they'll need both those things from East Bay. They'll need the loss tomorrow, they'll need a loss against SoCal, and they'll need to flip the net run rate calculation. They'll also need help to get up over Seattle, because they'll either have to do the net run rate thing with them too, or they'll need Seattle to drop one of their games against San Diego. That one behind the legs, I don't think there's any way that's an LBW, as the quick run is taken and a backhand flip by Rahul Jadiwala looking for the direct hit. Had a chance there. From our view, that certainly looked like it was going down leg. So a quick single taken. In fact, I haven't even seen a signal for leg by, so it looks like an actual single from that. 6 from the over, 30 for 4 through 7. Roshan Primus will keep the ball from the Barrett Avenue end, and why not? 2 wickets and no runs given up in his first over of work. Some of the best power play work we've seen from Prime this season. After the single to finish the over, Hamad Azam retains strike and will face off with Primus. Gets a edge to that one and will guide it fine of the man at third man. 4 runs on the board there for Hamad Azam. Azam, in fact, the most attacking batsman on the team, has attacked 86% of the balls he's faced. And by attack, I generally mean a shot where the blade of the bat flashes. If you look like you're trying to just knock it down or push it or get out of the way of it, I don't count that. And so to give you a sense of that, yeah, only 14% of the time does he do any of those things. Something along those lines, which I think that might be his first one after 7 deliveries. So there you go, 14%. Hooray, math. The remarkable thing is, for all that attacking, only hits 1 false shot roughly every 7 deliveries. The only guy on the team with a better number than that is Sami Aslam. I do suppose it stands to reason the 2 guys here with Pakistan test caps being the ones that are pretty good at controlling their shot. That one, on the other hand, comes up and gets him in the belly. Prime pulling his length back just a little bit, and Azam not able to adjust. Not sure he got any bat on that. Primus with a brief, excited appeal for LBW, but way up there in terms of height, and I think we may end up taking a drinks break here. So again, summarizing the playoff situation while the physios come out to attend to Hamad Azam. Silicon Valley Strikers at the moment 10-0 on the season. As we said at the beginning of the broadcast, that means they will pretty much mathematically clinch a playoff spot if they can win today, and would absolutely do so if they win both their games this weekend, today against the Grizzlies and tomorrow against the Blazers. Look out, though, for the Blazers. Blazers are the team that has come closest to knocking off that Silicon Valley side. They had their chase go all the way down to the final ball, and they were run out and bowled out completely for just 2 runs shy of the total they were looking to get. They sit right now at 7-3. That loss goes along with just their loss against Seattle in the first weekend of the season and a Duckworth-Lewis method loss against Dallas in the Texas triplet of games way back on the July 4th weekend. Those are the only losses East Bay has taken. So they are currently 7-3, as is Seattle. Seattle's losses have all come against the Bay Area teams. They've fallen twice to Silicon Valley last weekend and once in the pair of games they played against East Bay. The only advantage right now, Seattle currently leads on net run rate, which is very simply number of runs you've scored per over minus number of runs you've given up per over that you've bowled. Right now, both of those teams with about a +1 net run rate. That ball is pushed to the man at mid-on. Quick single as Hamad Azam's up running it. Mid-off, rather. 5 so far from the first 3 balls off of Roshan Primus. And then you have Golden State there at 5-4. They're currently 1 game back in the loss column. And we said last weekend the game against East Bay was so important because passing East Bay now gets very difficult. Blazers' remaining schedule is tomorrow's game against Silicon Valley, followed by 3 games against teams with just 2 victories to their name. Although actually I suppose SoCal now has 3. SoCal and Hollywood making the trip up here for next weekend's massive cricket festival here at Morgan Hill. August 6th and 7th, we will have 4 games on Saturday. Double barrel action at the 2 fields. 3 games going on Sunday. And SoCal Lashings, who won today by 8 wickets over the Hollywood Master Blasters, will face all 3 NorCal teams. Mishra taps that one back to Primus. Dot ball there. One ball left here in the 8th over for Roshan Primus. Hamad Azam still getting his wits back about him. I'm sure happy to get off strike after absorbing that impact into the abdomen. Mishra right now with 4 runs off of 9 faced, make it 10. A few changes to the field being asked for by Roshan Primus as he pushes Srini Raghavan back at fine leg. He's also got protection at 3rd man. Mishra, that's an edge. That is going to be fine of the man at 3rd man and find its way all the way to the boundary rope on a couple of hops. So a 4 to finish off the over for Shivam Mishra. 39 for 4 as we head to the 9th. Unmukt Chand electing to stick with Raymond Reefer for a 3rd consecutive over of work here from the San Pedro end. Reefer so far has given up 14 runs off of his 2 overs of work. Couple of boundaries, including the first runs off the bat for Hamad Azam. That's who he'll face on the first ball of the 9th. A swing, thinks he got an edge, and it is not given. There it is. Wow, he absolutely took his time with that one. back and forth. I don't know if there was a consultation between our umpires, Sundaram Subramanian and Ravishankar Barapagowda, but after a solid 4 or 5 seconds, finally decides to give the thick edge from Hamad Azam. Another caught behind, 9th of the season for Rahul Jadiwala. And that partnership broken before it really got a chance to get going. Just 15 from it. 5 wickets down. We'll be right back here in a moment with the new batsman, 39 for 5. And it will be Aditya Srinivas, the under-19 player, coming out to partner with Shivam Mishra, who has so far seen a few folks come and go since he came in at 3. He's been departnered from Aslam, from Junaid, from Zia Shahzad very quickly, and now from Hamad Azam. As we said, Mishra has looked to be the glue as of late. Aditya Srinivas, for the most part, has had some very brief cameos his last handful of matches. He's topped out at 17 runs, which he got against Dallas in his first innings of the season. Since then, 9 off 9 against Chicago Blasters, 14 off 14 against the East Bay Blazers. Was gone LBW first ball against San Diego, 4 off 2 when they faced the Silicon Valley Strikers last, and 4 off 6 last weekend against East Bay. Very important player in the field, but a little earlier than you generally like to see him at the crease. That ball from Reefer pops up a little high. That'll be a wide. Not a terribly common thing here for Reefer, and so far today, the Silicon Valley Strikers have largely avoided providing free runs to the Grizzlies. Just the second wide. Haven't seen a no ball yet either. Technically a bunch of extras because of all those no balls at the beginning. Good work coming around in the deep at deep extra cover. I'll limit that to just a single for Aditya Srinivas. He is off the mark. Reefer himself, about 6% of the runs he concedes have been by way of wides and no balls. Defensive changes with Shivam Mishra, the lefty, coming up. Lots of protection, looking for the pull shot. Got a man at what appears to be either a backward square leg or just square leg. Also a deep mid-wicket in Pranay Suri. Deep long on here for Roshan Primus, and so Mishra will try to tap it where they aren't. Scooped up, and it's a dot ball here. So I think perhaps part of the reasoning of using up Raymond Reefer as early as they are here, he has been kind of hammered in the death overs, and certainly with the return of Saurabh Netravalkar, you don't have to use him there. Pace off. That one is going to split the fielders on the offside. Picked up at the boundary. Another single. That'll bring Srinivas back on strike. Shivam Mishra, for his part, with the exception of the last time these two teams faced off, is on a string of double-digit scores, starting with his 83 against Michigan Cricket Stars, that part of the big partnership that we talked about with Hamad Azam in that game. 20 against Dallas, 10 against the Blasters, 11 against the Blazers, 48 against San Diego a couple weekends ago, and 77 anchoring that partnership alongside Zia Shazad back in Davis 6 days back. Last time he faced Silicon Valley, though, 3 off 5, and he was LBW'd by Suri. Then again, who wasn't taken out by Suri in that one? That one just near the tram lines. Judged to be within them. A dot ball to Aditya Srinivas. One more left on the over. Last time these two teams met, the Grizzlies seemed to be getting off to a pretty good start at the beginning of their innings. And then when Pranay Suri came in, it began to fall apart in a hurry. Suri taking just the second six-fer in minor league cricket history. A swing and a miss this time. No feathered edge, no appeal either. That'll be a dot ball to finish off the over. 3 from it and the wicket of Hamad Azam, 42 for 5 through 9.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
Tenth over, approaching the halfway point here, and we're going to get our first look at Pranay Suri, who since we last saw the Silicon Valley Strikers down here in the Bay Area has leapt up the leaderboards in pretty much everything. He had back-to-back fifers, the six-fer against Golden State here 2 weeks ago, followed by a fifer up in the Pacific Northwest. He's now number 3 in strike rate, number 5 in wickets, and number 6 in average among all bowlers in minor league cricket. He's going to start with a wide, and they're going to take some runs off of it. That is going across the quick outfield. Will Raghavan be able to reach it before it hits the boundary rope? No. That's going to be 5 wides right out of the gate for Pranay Suri, although don't look now. That was also how the first delivery went the day he had the six-fer. From that point forward, 6 for 19 on his remaining 24 deliveries. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying. Here comes Pranay Suri. That one works to backward square leg. Long run for the man back there, Dev Thadani. He's not going to get to it. It's back-to-back boundaries. One from Suri, one off the bat of Aditya Srinivas. Or correction, rather, Shivam Mishra. It's 9 quick runs to try to break a little bit of the pressure that's mounting on the Golden State Grizzlies at this point. Protection against Mishra is all out in front, knowing his penchant for swinging away, looking to get big hits. He's going to tap that one back to Suri, though. And in the past, this has, generally speaking, been a useful way to try to limit the speed at which he accumulates runs. That one is roped again. Never mind that. He has definitely got Pranay Suri's number so far here today as he pulls that one to the other side of the protection. An expensive over already. And it would appear we may need to... No, never mind. I'm sorry. I thought I was seeing a signal from the man out at the deep that that had gone underneath the fence or something and was going to need to be fetched somehow. So I'm not quite sure what he was trying to signal there. Pranay Suri coming around the wicket. Mishra will tap that to the vacant area at mid-on. Takes the single and will give Aditya Srinivas a few seconds here to try to get locked in. Mishra has definitely been the big story this season. Tom Nielsen's impact ratings have him as the 16th most impactful batter overall in minor league cricket. Compared to an average batter, given the opportunities he's had, he's scored 56 more runs. And that, by the way, up 19 runs just from his contribution to the game against East Bay 6 days ago. His impact rating in the power play is actually best on the team. He's worth an extra 3 runs per time he's appeared in the power play. Makes you think maybe that's why they put him in at 3 today instead of 4. Figured may as well give him a chance. He's done good work there. Couple of dots against Srinivas to finish off the over. 9 from it off the bat, plus 5 wides, 56 for 5.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस, इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट में क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Winds died down a little bit here at Morgan Hill, so it does feel just a little bit more like the 87 degrees that it is. Of course, if you're looking for something hot, look no further than a Silicon Valley Strikers team with 13 consecutive wins under their belt. Also look no further than Lakshmi, makers of Royal Chef's Secret Extra Long Basmati Rice, sponsor of the Silicon Valley Strikers. Both the rice and the team piping hot. Dev Thadani is going to come into the attack here. Thadani, excuse me, little used last year, but had 4 wickets, tended to get wickets when brought in, and a couple of great catches, including ones we saw up in Davis. First delivery from him is going to be a wide. Starts the same way that Suri did. It was actually Thadani and Suri that were responsible for ripping out the heart of the Golden State resistance 2 weeks ago when these teams met. We had a chase that was set for an interesting finale. Grizzlies were in need as that one is down leg side, a half-hearted appeal. It is given as leg byes. So a leg by and a wide to start off the over. That'll bring Aditya Srinivas back to the crease. Mishra trying to get himself going at a decent pace, but so far barely over a run a ball. Srinivas taps that one back toward Thadani. Bump ball. So a dot for Srinivas. Thadani, an exciting young player here on this club. Also from a family that's been doing some good work in general here in USA Cricket. Thadani's sister, Sahani, is on the USA Women's Under-19 squad. Had some nice performances down in the West Indies back a few weeks ago. Big cut and a miss from Aditya Srinivas. Thadani on the season, 8 wickets, an 11.4 strike rate. An economy just a hair under 8s. His calling card has been how good he is at the start of a spell, oftentimes in contrast to a spinner in the middle overs. That is in the air and taken by the man at backward point. Gary Graham's got it. We conjure it into existence here. Wicket number 6 is down. Aditya Srinivas, fooled by a little bit of, I believe, maybe some late swing and motion off the surface, catches the outside edge and hits that straight to Graham. Very quick outing for Aditya Srinivas, 1 off of 8, 58 for 6. Golden State in a world of hurt. Mohit Nataraj in at 8. He'll face off with Dev Thadani, who's got 2 balls left in this over. Nataraj with one of his better outings. A quick cameo at the end of the innings against the East Bay Blazers that helped that total get near something defendable. Had 20 off of 6 and 4 fours off of his bat, his 4th double-digit score of the season. That one tapped to the offside, first ball to Nataraj. That'll be a dot. But Mohit had a good time in Texas back on the July 4th weekend, a 23 off 12 against the Dallas Mustangs, a 30 off 18 against the Chicago Blasters. High score on the season, 32 off of 15 against San Diego. He's certainly somebody who can put runs up quickly. But 6 wickets down, what Captain Semi Aslam is going to be hoping is that he can last. That one tapped to the offside, looking to take the quick single, and not a clean pickup. That gets away from Primus. They won't try to take a second. So just the single there, 1 run off the bat, a wide and a leg a leg by rather, along with the wicket of Aditya Srinivas. We head to the 12th over, 59 for 6. '22 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championships brought to you by Sunoco. Fuel your best. Right now the fuel is fuel definitely full in the tanks of the Silicon Valley Strikers and running on roughly E for the Golden State Grizzlies. Pranay Suri quickly up with the first delivery of over number 12. Tapped by Mohit Nataraj for a single. He's got 2 runs so far off the 3 balls he's faced. Shivam Mishra with 18 off 18. After these 2, you're pretty much down to bowlers. Sohan Bhatt has been useful in his work in the late overs. We'll tell you about him if he does come to the crease. There's another single worked by Shivam Mishra. The scorecard does not make for comforting reading right now for the Golden State Grizzlies. Just 1 double-digit score. It belongs to the man at the non-striker's end, Shivam Mishra. Aslam dismissed for 8. Chandel for 1. Junaid for 6. That one tapped back to Suri. It'll be a dot. Azam gone for 9 off 9. Srinivas for just 1. Zia Shahzad, the Golden Duck. Tap to the side of the bowler this time. Kulvinder Singh in from long on. That'll be another single. 3 so far off the over, but with 8 overs left, Golden State need to get a move on. They have just barely nudged their way over 60. Tapped again to long on. Another single here for Mishra. A reminder again, next week, a lot of action here at Morgan Hill. Come on out, drink up your fill. Or if you can't make it to the South Bay, make sure you've got the MLC network open on your laptop, your Roku, whatever you're using. Another one tapped along on, another single. That's going to finish things off. We'll tell you more about that festival coming up on August 6th and 7th when we come back. 12 overs done and dusted. 5 from that one, 64 for 6.
1, 2, 3.
2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championships presented by Sunoco and DAFA News. DAFA News, sponsor of our Emerging Player of the Week as well as the Shot of the Week. Make sure you take a look at our social media channels, MILC USA on Facebook and Instagram, at MIL Cricket on Twitter. To have your opportunity to vote for that. Hoping to see a few contributions to it here, but the Silicon Valley bowling attack has done excellent work restraining what is usually a potentially potent lineup. A lot of good hitters with excellent pedigrees here that have had a hard time getting off the mark. Dev Thadani on for a second over of work from the San Pedro end. Thadani worked a tight one, just 3 runs coming off of it, only 2 charged to him. One of them was a leg by, and picked up the wicket of Aditya Srinivas, his first time out. This one in the air, could be a chance. Running in and unable to quite get there. Unclear on first look from our commentary position whether that is a ball that just barely didn't carry to Raymond Reefer or a drop, which would of course be an unkind way to express it, because he did an awful lot of work to try to get to that, but will go down in the book as a single for Mohit Nataraj. Pranay Suri, worth noting, a decent comeback from his first over of work when he gave up 2 fours and 14 runs total. That one definitely hits the pads, but I think we heard 2 sounds back here. Little feathered edge to deny Thadani a second wicket. Might also have been going down leg. As we take a look on the replay that we are now seeing on our screens, it does appear that that ball may have gotten to Reefer. But of course, at full stretch, had to make a lot of ground to get to it. A tough spot to try to make that catch just above the turf. Tapped right back to Thadani, hits the wickets. We get the light show, but nothing for it. A lot of sound and fury signifying nothing. Nataraj safely back in his crease as that ball hit the timber. Thadani, though, continuing to be dominating so far through 10 balls bowled, 1 wicket and 3 runs. Outside edge picked up by the sub-fielder Zahid Zakil. Another dot, and Thadani working on a fantastic spell here in the middle overs. Particularly impressive right now because Thadani, in terms of the impact ratings, is among the bottom 10 in the middle overs. But we're seeing what he can bring you. Quick strike ability. And when he's on, he is tough to square up. That one rolled just behind him. They're going to try maybe for the soccer one. Thadani thought about a throw to the non-striker's end. They do take the quick single. Just 2 off the 13th, though. Looking demonic here, 66 for 6. $66 for 6, a truly beastly number on the board for the Golden State Grizzlies. Silicon Valley Strikers with just another 7 overs left to navigate to try to keep the total down and make the chase straightforward. It'll be Pranay Suri for a 3rd consecutive over from the Barrett Avenue end. That's going to get by a diving attempt to keep it inside the circle by Gary Graham. A single to start the over for Shivam Mishra. 2 fours that greeted Pranay Suri on his first 3 legal deliveries back in the 10th over, the last boundaries we've seen for the Golden State Grizzlies. 3 overs now on the trot, plus 4 balls since we've seen a ball reach the boundary. Nataraj trying for the big slog sweep. Doesn't make solid contact. And a dot ball here. Deep protection against Nataraj, mostly in front of him. Looks to cut that one through a pair of fielders. A lot of work to do at the boundary, but nicely done out there. Hard throw to the non-striker's end, and that looked pretty good for a moment there. Pranay Suri unable to quite field cleanly and break the wicket. But some spectacular work out there in the deep, I want to say, by Srinivas Raghavan. Although he is a long way away and his number is not facing me. That one looking to drop it down to the vacant area in front of third man. So a single after the double. Shivam Mishra will come back on strike. 4 so far off the over, but Golden State are going to need a fair bit more than this if they're going to challenge in this match. By the way, my mistake, it appears that it was Zahid Zakhail that made that great play out at the boundary earlier. Srini Raghavan now stationed at third man, so unless he is the flash, I don't think that was him all the way out there. Single taken by Mishra, 1 ball left off the over. Rahul Jadiwala, by the way, came into action today tied for third in most dismissals. His 2 caught behind so far today now have him ranked number 1 in all of minor league cricket. 15 dismissals he's been responsible for, the 18-year-old Irvington graduate from Fremont, California. The ball ends up with him as the Grizzlies take a single off the final ball of the over. 6 from it, 72 for 6.
My son. He's so soft-spoken. Oh, yeah! Everyone says he's so good-looking. And he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
Dev Thadani staying on from the San Pedro end for a 3rd consecutive over of work. He and Pranay Suri, after the first 3 deliveries from Pranay, have largely dried up the run faucet here for Golden State Grizzlies, and it wasn't going great to begin with, but they've really slowed it down since their entry. That one lofted towards Raymond Reefer out in the deep. He'll chase that down. Single to start the over off the bat of Nataraj. So that makes Mohit Nataraj the 2nd Golden State Grizzly to reach double figures today. Thadani, meanwhile, just 5 runs off of his first 13 balls and a precious wicket. Grizzlies know they need to accelerate, but if they lose either of these guys, they might end up out for a truly frightening total. That one is up in the air, looks like it's got the carry, and is going to make it well over the boundary rope for 6. And that breaks a lengthy string of deliveries with no boundaries to their name. First boundary in 28 balls there, authored by Shivam Mishra. Turning and launching that one between Netravalkar and Primus out in the deep. Mishra against pace generally tends to work mostly in boundaries. Coming into action today, 80% of his runs scored against quicks had come by way of 4s and 6s. Just 53% of the runs coming in that fashion against spin. Looks to flick that one over his head. Fine third man. That one's going to roll its way to the boundary as well. That's 4, 10 off the last 2 deliveries. And so Shivam Mishra thinking the same thing I was. They need some runs quick to help them believe. Just a truly remarkable bowling effort so far today for the Silicon Valley Strikers, but Thadani getting peppered a little bit. That one in the air, though. Reefer camped under it, right down his throat. Wicket number 7 falls. Shivam Mishra, bang, bang, and then gone. A 6, a 4, and then wicket number 7 coming down. And so it's going to be up to Sohan Bhatt, I believe, to come out and partner Nataraj. It's going to look very similar. He wears the same number, but it's a little bit different of a look to the batting lineup here. That's all for Mishra. We'll be right back with the remainder of over number 15. 83 rather, for 7.
Everything good? Good.
2 balls left in the 15th, approaching the death overs, and thus far 83 for 7. Golden State Grizzlies held it under a run a ball for the first 15 overs. Shivam Mishra tried to accelerate things, and of course the danger is you keep elevating, and eventually one hangs up for a fielder, and Silicon Valley don't tend to excuse that. First delivery, though, to Sohan Bhatt, run very, very fine, just past the outstretched arms of Rahul Jadiwala. That'll be a 4 for the new man at the crease, who picks up right where the other number 26 left off. Sohan Bhatt, a late addition to the attack. He came on as kind of a like-for-like substitute for Vatsal Vagela while he was out on international duty, and Bhatt has been awfully useful, averaging 27, a strike rate a little bit over 100, 54 runs off 49 balls, and he hits that one right back over the bowler's head. Protection out there. Shahan Jayasuriya will snag it, a single to finish off the over. It is an expensive one, but one of the last real threats with the bat in hand. Shivam Mishra falls 88 for 7. Beginning of what are termed the death overs, the final 5, or the fast 5, depending on which league you're watching. Saurabh Netravalkar will start, and this is a guy who has been lethal at the death. A strike rate of 6.0. To just put that into perspective for you, if you're a little new to cricket statistics, that means when he bowls at the death, he's good for a wicket per over. And so we will see if he holds up that end of the bargain. So far today, 2 wickets for just 4 runs in his 2 overs. Looking every bit the international that he is. Netravalkar, a few weeks back in Zimbabwe, authored the 19th 3-wicket maiden in T20 international history. Pulled that off in his first over of work against Singapore in a match that the USA won walking away. Dot ball off the first as Sohan Bhatt retains strike following his 4 and single in his first 2 balls faced. Protection behind Sohan Bhatt, both at third man and fine leg in the deep. Going to try to take the quick single, and an attempt there by Unmuk Chand for the quick pickup and the sidearm throw, but not able to make it cleanly. That'll be a single for Bhatt to get things started here in the 16th. Both of these teams possessing some fantastic death bowling. We'll see Ehsan Adil later on today for the Golden State Grizzlies. Although not to put too fine a point on it, that does assume that we're actually going to reach the death overs when Golden Golden State come out to bowl. They're going to need to put up a few more runs if they're going to hope to keep Silicon Valley out there batting for much longer than 12 or 13 overs. Netravalkar coming in with 8 wickets today. He's now got 10. At 4.33 economy, leads all of minor league cricket. So far, with just 5 runs scored against him, he's managed to pull it down. That one over the top and will get over Jayasuriya as well as the boundary rope, and that's an unusual 6 against Saurabh Netravalkar. Golden State Grizzlies absolutely in dire need of that. Water in the desert. Any boundaries off the bat of Bhatt or Mohit Nataraj? It's going to bring about a fielding change as Pranay Suri, who was playing deep at fine leg, is going to bring himself up. Certainly seeing the intent from Nataraj to swivel and go deep, putting a bit more protection in front of him. There's still a deep third man at the moment. But otherwise, mid-wicket, long on, long off, and extra cover all back at the boundary. Nataraj maybe looking to tee off, get runs while they still can. Looking for the sweep, and he's bowled him! Saurabh Netravalkar wraps it around the legs and hits the stumps. 3rd wicket for Saurabh, and his 3rd one clean bowled of today's game. He got both openers, Aslam and Chandel, and he's now victimized Mohit Nataraj. It'll be Sohan Bhatt, Ehsan Adil, and one other bowler left to try to continue to add to this total for the Golden State Grizzlies. But yet again, after a big swing and a big knock from Mohit Nataraj, the wicket falls. 95 for 8. No, it's Vagella. Vatsal Vagella in at 10. Just Ehsan Adil awaiting in the shed, padded up. And still 26 balls left in this innings, potentially. Silicon Valley Strikers looking to clean it up quick. Thought he might have had Vagella leg before, but he does manage to close the face of the bat and get that one to the man at long on. A single quickly, and Vagella is off the mark. Vatsal Vagella, actually the first time he's batted this season. Last year had 13 runs off 22 deliveries in the 2 innings that he did come in to bat. Pair of 4s, potentially useful. Sohan Bhatt will tap that one just a bit behind him to the onside. Another quick single taken. And that'll bring the 16th over to an end, but it's an eventful one. A 6 from Nataraj to give them hope, and then a wicket from Netravalkar to begin to put those hopes to bed. 97 for 8. Sohan Bhatt will be on strike, and it appears he will be facing off with Kulvinder Singh coming at you from the San Pedro end. Kulvinder so far in today's match, 6 runs conceded off of his 2 overs back in the power play, yet to strike, but that's not generally his style. Usually his MO so far this season has been keep it economical early on and then pick up his wickets at the death. 7 wickets on the season, 6 of them have come in these death overs where he bowls 40% of his overs on the season. Strike rate of 10 inside these overs, average of 13, economy of 8. That one worked off the pads. No run to be taken. Good work by Suri to keep it in front of him. Bott and Vagela together might have ooh, that one flicked off the pads perhaps. Nothing given. I think Kulvinder Singh thought he heard a sound. Nothing given though. Another dot ball. Must have flicked pad rather than bat because otherwise it ought to have been given as a wide.
Let's go, Vatsal!
Here comes the left armer over the wicket, in the air, wicket number 9 is down. That's all for Sohan Bhatt. Gary Graham, Johnny on the spot. Nearly the same place where they dismissed Aditya Srinivas earlier, maybe just a little bit further forward, but that'll do it. "97 for 9, the last man in out of the shed is Ehsan Adil. And it's just remarkable watching these Silicon Valley strikers bowl right now. Up until this point in the season, they really hadn't been restricting teams' run totals particularly well. They were, for the first 7 wins they picked up, 7 or 8 wins, it was all about out-hitting the opposition. These giant partnerships between Jayasuriya and Chand, or them with one of their other teammates. Some great work from Zahid Zakil at the top. You saw big finishes coming by virtue of Raymond Reefer and Roshan Primus and Gary Graham possibly having just been listed in order of increasing strike rate. Even some contributions from Kulvinder Singh. It was all about those 200-run performances. Last week, first time ran out Kulvinder Singh with Netravalkar and Reefer all at the same time, all 3 of them contributing. And they have been bowling out teams for right about 100, if not much, much lower totals the last 3 games running. Golden State Grizzlies have 3 runs still to get just to reach triple figures. Now the man at the crease, Ehsan Adil, certainly somebody who could do that in one fell swoop. Adil certainly useful with the bat. A strike rate of 171. 29 runs scored off 17 balls. The problem is Singh looking for a strike that would put this one to bed here. He's got his first wicket of the day. That one going straight back up the middle past the outstretched hand of Kulvinder Singh. That will bring up the 100 as Shahan Jayasuriya grabs it at long on. A single for Adil, 100 for 9, 3 overs left.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
18th over, and it will be Saurabh Netravalkar's last one. A reminder here that the 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championships are fueled by Sunoco and brought to you by DAFA News. And that these Silicon Valley strikers are themselves fueled by Lakshmi, makers of Royal Chef's Secret long-grain basmati rice. Sure looks like they all had their fill this morning. They have been doing hard work here. 100 runs so far on the day for Golden State, but 9 wickets down. This bowling attack has been holding their neighbors to the north largely at bay. See what I did there? Here comes Saurabh Netravalkar over the wicket from the left side. A deal straight back over his head. Will that hang up at long off? It appears it will be held by the park. The catch made out in the deep by Shahan Jayasuriya, and that is all she wrote. Golden State Grizzlies retired at 100, all out. We'll take a quick review of the scorecard. It is not comforting reading for fans watching from Sacramento. Shivam Mishra and Mohit Nataraj, the only men managing to get to double figures. 33 off 29 for Mishra, 16 off 15 for Nataraj. Otherwise, a lot of single-digit scores. A duck in there for Zia Shahzad, 1 run for Chandel and for Srinivas, and not a whole lot of help. In fact, the 15 extras by virtue of 7 leg bys and 8 wides, outscoring everybody on the team with the lone exceptions of Nataraj and Mishra. So a tough day at the office on the batting side of the card. For the bowlers, Kulvinder Singh with 1 wicket and just 9 runs conceded off of 3 overs. Great work from him. 4 for 13 from Saurabh Netravalkar. 2 wickets each for Primus and Thadani. Mostly really good-looking economies there. Only Pranay Suri got batted around a little bit. He gives up exactly 1/4 of the runs in his 3 overs. The target is set at 101 for the Silicon Valley Strikers to extend their record to 11-0 and just about sew up a playoff spot and a date with either Chicago or Michigan here 3 weeks from now for the first round of the postseason. We'll be back in about 10 minutes to bring you their chase of 101 here on the MLC Network. See you soon. And a win today and a win tomorrow would sew up the division. And there goes Sammy Aslam. Saurabh Netravalkar's got his second opener clean bowled of the match. Duty. He and Reefer became the opening bowlers. That one sprayed and will split the fielders on the cover side of things, and that's going to be one of the few costly bowlers in a chase that went very well. Looks like he may have picked up Junaid. There goes the finger. Tipped straight back to Rahul immensely this season, currently with an average of 13.3. Very first ball is ladled to the man at mid-on, and it's a first ball wicket. Pranay Suri making the catch. Roshan Primus to win the tiebreaker. Azam looking to pull that one as the fielding restrictions have loosened, but it doesn't matter. He beats the 2 men out there by pulling it just backward of square leg. To finish the over, Hamad Azam retains strike and will face off with Primus. Gets a edge to that one and will guide it fine of the man at third man. Also got protection at third man. Mishra, that's an edge. That is going to be fine of the man at third man and find its way all the way to the boundary rope on a couple of hops. For Hamad Azam, that's who he'll face on the first ball of the 9th. A swing, thinks he got an edge, and it is not given. There it is. Wow, he absolutely took his time with that one. It's a number 6 in average among all bowlers in minor league cricket. He's going to start with a wide, and they're going to take some runs off of it. That is going across the quick outfield. Will Raghavan be able to reach it before it hits the boundary rope? No. That's going to be 5 wides right out of the gate for Pranay Suri. Here comes Pranay Suri. That one worked to backward square leg. Long run for the man back there, Dev Thadani. He's not going to get to it. It's back-to-back boundaries. 1 from Suri, 1 off the bat. That one is roped again. Never mind that. He has definitely got Pranay Suri's number so far here today as he pulls that one to the other side. Spinner in the middle overs. That is in the air and taken by the man at backward point. Gary Graham's got it. and picked up the wicket of Aditya Srinivas his first time out. This one in the air, could be a chance. Running in and unable to quite get there. Unclear on first look from our commentary position whether that is a barrage mostly in front of him. Looks to cut that one through a pair of fielders. A lot of work to do at the boundary, but nicely done out there. Hard throw to the non-striker's end, and that looked pretty good for a moment there. Pranay Suri, as they might end up out for a truly frightening total. That one is up in the air, looks like it's got the carry, and is going to make it well over the boundary rope for 6. Looks to flick that one over his head. Fine third man. That one's going to roll its way to the boundary as well. That's 4, 10 off the last 2 deliveries. Silicon Valley strikers, but Thadani getting peppered a little bit. That one in the air, though. Reefer camped under it, right down his throat. Wicket number 7 falls. Shivam Mishra, bang, bang, and then gone. And eventually one hangs up for a fielder, and Silicon Valley don't tend to excuse that. First delivery, though, to Sohan Bhatt, run very, very fine, just past the outstretched arms. So far, with just 5 runs scored against him, he's managed to pull it down. That one over the top and will get over Jayasuriya as well as the boundary rope, and that's an unusual 6. Nataraj maybe looking to tee off, get runs while they still can. Looking for the sweep, and he's bowled him! Saurabh Netravalkar wraps it around the legs and hits the stumps. Here comes the left armer over the wicket, in the air. Wicket number 9 is down. That's all for Sohan Bhatt. Gary Graham, Johnny on the spot. Nearly the same place where here comes Saurabh Netravalkar over the wicket from the left side. A deal straight back over his head. Will that hang up at long off? It appears it will be held by the park. The catch made out in the deep by Shahan Jayasuriya, and that is all she wrote. Golden State Grizzlies retired.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco. You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.
Welcome back, folks, to the 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championships, fueled by Sunoco. We are ready for a chase of 101. The Silicon Valley Strikers setting themselves up with what, given their talent level, should be something of a canter. But we've certainly seen, even in just the last couple of weeks, chases that looked simple out of the gate turn very much not so. And the Silicon Valley Strikers know all about that. They were responsible for picking up wins on a few of those. They had a pair of matches last week in Seattle where they were bowled out for 130 and 94 and managed to hold on for victory in both of those cases. So they know how easily it can go sideways. They're going to have to keep their focus early, look for a good opening partnership. They don't tend to fly right out of the gate. They're usually a little circumspect, either with Arsh Buch, Zahid Zakhail, or, as is the case today, Rahul Jadiwala, partnering the captain Unmukt Chand. They're not going to be looking to score big quickly. If other matches have been any indication, then again, we have hardly ever seen them chase. They are chasing for just the second time this season. They chased against the Michigan Cricket Stars down in Texas, and otherwise have elected to bat every time they've won the toss and have been put into bat every other time they've lost the toss. They will be facing off against Ehsan Adil Rahul Jadiwala on strike for the first delivery of the second innings, and he works that off the hip immediately and deposits it behind square leg for a 4, so never mind everything I said. Attack-minded right out of the get-go. Of course, never more true the old baseball adage of hit it where they ain't than in the power play, and where they ain't is everywhere except for 2 places as long as you can get it over the 30-yard circle. And so the men currently protecting in the deep, both behind Jadiwala. There's a man at third man and at what appears to be a deep fine leg at the moment. And they've now moved, I think that's Mohit Nataraj, over to the boundary at deep square leg. Looking to protect against that. The fine leg no longer there. Square leg and third man. That one in the air, and it's going to be just past him over at square leg. Worked into the mid-wicket area, and that's going to get over the boundary. For as much as I like it when I come up with statistics and it makes me look like a prognosticator, like I'm Nostradamus or something, I sometimes like it even more when I give you a statistic and they immediately say, no, to heck with all that. This is what we're doing. 8 runs off the first 2 balls for the opener, Rahul Jadiwala. 18-year-old out of Irvington High School in Fremont, starting shortstop there, wicketkeeper here. And one of the most exciting young players in cricket. Hasn't had a lot of chances to open the batting. Thought about trying to take a quick single there. Thinks better of it. Jadiwala on the season, his strike rate was sitting at just 90.7 coming in, although 8 off of 2 is going to, or off of 3 deliveries, has just pushed it over 100. 47 runs now off of 46 deliveries faced on the season. But he's been somewhat buried down the order most of the games. This is just going to be his 4th time opening. High score from that position was 15. He's already more than halfway there. Big swing and a miss as Adil elects to provide a little more width here after Jadiwala victimized him on balls off the pads the first couple of deliveries. If you're just joining us, a rough innings for the Golden State Grizzlies, bowled out with 17 balls left to potentially face for just 100. Only 2 scores above 10 for the team. 3 if you count the extras column. Nataraj is 16 and Shivam Mishra is 33 leading the team. Everybody else in single figures. 3 went for 1 or no runs. That one dumped into the area back behind your third man. Jadiwala will take the single, and Unmukt Chand, the captain, will be on strike for the first time in today's match. Chand on the season, an average of 40.3, strike rate of 130.4, and he's got the 9th most runs and the 11th most 4s in all of minor league cricket. His 104 not out in a massive 218 that Silicon Valley put up against San Diego Surf Riders 3 weeks ago is the 6th highest score of the season entering play this week. Of course, 2 of the scores that are higher belong to his teammate, who will be in at 3 later on. But he and Jadiwala are going to try to postpone that for as long as possible. That one is run to mid-wicket for another 4. 3 boundaries off the over, 13 from it. Unusually expensive early on for Ace on a deal. 13 for no loss.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस, इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Toyota Minor League Cricket fueled by Sunoco is also brought to you by participating sponsor DAFA News. They sponsor our DAFA News Shot of the Week, as well as, of course, much more frequently, the Shot of the Match. I suspect we're still waiting for ours. We did not see a ton of boundaries in the first innings from the Golden State Grizzlies. Just 9 4s and 2 6s off the bats of the men in red and gold. So far, Jadiwala with a few early candidates. Unmuk Chan with that nice drive to mid-wicket, splitting the 2 defenders. It'll be Jadiwala on strike, and they're going to go to spin early. Vatsal Vagela, the USA international, 20-year-old out of Milpitas, into the attack in over number 2. Jadiwala, one of the very few players in minor league cricket younger than Vagela, works that one off to the side of the young man. A single to the offside. And Unmuk Chan comes on strike. Vagela hasn't bowled a ton this season for Golden State by virtue of the fact that he's been away on international duty for a few weeks. But in the 8 overs, he's bowled 4 wickets, recorded for 55 runs. A little more expensive than last year, but continuing his wicket-taking ways. Last year, if you follow the league, he was the 2nd leading wicket taker in all of minor league cricket as he dots up Unmuk Chan on the 2nd delivery of the over. Had 1 4-wicket haul, as that one's dumped to mid-wicket. Up with it, Hamad Azam. No run there either for Chand. As we mentioned, tends to be cautious early in the innings. Chand's had a rough go of it the last handful of matches. Very un-Unmuktian scores following that 104 not out. A 6, a 17, a 3, and a 4. They're going to run on the misfield as that one scoots by Mohit Nataraj inside the circle. Chand with 5 off the first 4 deliveries he's faced. But Vagela, we were telling you about, earned the honors from the Emerging Cricket podcast of Emerging Player of the First Half last year. A lot of excitement surrounding him. Jadiwala manages to get an edge to that one on the underside, and he's going to run that to fine leg. No chance. No, it does hold up in the grass. Disappeared for me behind the advertising boards. Thought that Ace on a Deal had watched that go away. I was wrong. It'll just be 2 for the recent high school graduate. But Vagela last year, among bowlers that bowled at least 20 overs, had the 2nd best average in minor league cricket, the 6th best strike rate, and the 13th best economy. Working on the average in the economy right now, as he's been, as we said, a little expensive in the early going of this season. But his first over of work here against Jadiwala and Chand goes for just 4, 17 for no loss.
1, 2, 3.
And a bit of a surprise as we go to the third over, it appears that Sohan Bhatt is going to bowl from the San Pedro end, removing Ehsan Adil from the attack for the time being. So left arm spin from both sides for the Golden State Grizzlies as they look to try to restrain the run rate of Unmukt Chand and Rahul Jadiwala, who admittedly made good use of Ehsan Adil's pace in the first over. Taking a look at strike rates, it does seem with Chand that would be a good decision. Not really the way to remove him. He's only been retired by spin once this season, but scores at about a 113 strike rate as opposed to a 139 against spin. Takes a big whack at the first one, well blocked at extra cover. Dot ball to start the over for Sohan Bhatt. Jadiwala, it's hard to make a good judgment on. He's kind of the victim of small sample size so far in terms of spin versus pace. There goes Unmukt Chand, though, and he's going to go big. Over the boundary, targeting, is that Russell Wilson in the house for us, or just a guy in a Russell Wilson jersey? I'd like to believe we've got celebrities here coming to the minor league cricket, but odds are somebody bought a shirt. But either way, that's who's targeted out there. A 6 in the direction of number 3, hit by number 9. Unmukt Chand quickly into double figures alongside Rahul Jadiwala. 11 for him, 12 for Jadiwala. Here comes the next ball from Sohan Bhatt. Targeting Vagela again at extra cover. Again, equal to the challenge. Sohan Bhatt so far on the season had bowled well enough in his spell trying to deal with the absence of Vagela as he goes a little flatter with that one. Another dot ball as Chand hits it to the offside. He was brought in basically as the like-for-like replacement for Vatsal Vagela when he was away on international duty. There's another quick one, and the only thing quicker than the pace on the ball is how fast it disappears. Another 6 in the over for Unmukt Chand. I'm going to go with that one. I think right now that is my Dafanu's shot of the match. Absolutely lethal turn on that one for Unmukt Chand. You certainly don't always think of him as a basher, but 58% of his runs this season coming by way of boundaries. He's hit 12 maximums coming into play today, so make it 14. And finally does get that one by Vagela for a third boundary of the over. 2 6s and a 4, 16 off the frame. The score nearly doubled, 33 for no loss through 3. Say that 5 times fast.
My son, he's so soft-spoken.
Oh, yeah!
Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
Vatsal Vagela remains in the attack. A reminder here, the 2022 Minor League Cricket Championships fueled by Sunoco. Fuel your best. Rahul Jadiwala earning a single on the first ball against Vatsal Vagela. Vagela just 4 runs from his first over. He's held down the Barrett Avenue end, but so far no solutions forthcoming at the San Pedro end. Adil started off going for 13 off the first over. Bhatt came in his replacement and went for 16. Dot ball here as Chand defends that to the offside. Protection in the deep at square leg and long off. Chand is going to spray that one just wide of the man at long off. That'll be another 4 for him. If we do take a look at the current points table, you might even imagine Silicon Valley thinking right now about a chance to absolutely dust everybody on net run rate if they can get this done quickly. Chand working that one to the offside for a single. That'll bring Jadiwala back on strike. The current points table in the Western Conference, of course, shows them way up at the top at 10-0. An 11th win here with Silicon Valley and, with East Bay and Seattle, rather. So that's tapped back for a dot ball. Seattle and East Bay both on 3 losses right now. An 11th win is going to mean that the worst case scenario for Silicon Valley is a 3-way tie if East Bay and Seattle win out and they lose out. And they might be making sure here that at the very least they wouldn't finish with the worst net run rate even if that happened. Dive from Vagela is not going to keep that one inside the circle. Jadiwala and Chand will run another single, 7 off the over, 40 for no loss through 4.
1, 2, 3.
Lakshmi brand long grain basmati rice, Royal Chef's Secret, is the official sponsor of the Silicon Valley Strikers. Much like Sunoco fuels minor league cricket, Lakshmi fueling the Strikers to what appears to be a canter of a chase at the moment. They are 61 runs from the target and have got 16 overs to get it. The captain is going to bowl himself here. Sami Aslam into the attack. His first delivery, watched carefully into the mitts by Rahul Jadiwala. Last year, Aslam used himself very, very sparingly, just 5 overs on the season, although he did take 4 wickets. Single there as Jadiwala will concede the strike so that we go captain on captain now. This season, Aslam has already bowled himself 11 overs, still with 4 matches to go. Work to the offside. Zia Shahzad down to one knee and claims it. That'll be a dot ball. Aslam's right arm off-spin bowling has been good for an economy of 7.73 for his team. That one will get to Shahzad a little bit slower, and that actually is going to allow Chand and Jadiwala to scamper the single, continuing to keep the odometer ticking over. Just 2 wickets in his 11 overs so far. Jadiwala trying to help that one around the corner. Doesn't make contact, but it'll be a wide. Third run from the frame. Already gotten a look at 4 of Golden State's bowlers. We would imagine we'll likely see some Zia Shahzad before too long. That one worked out to Shivam Mishra at long on. Another single taken here by Jadiwala. We did tell you, though, if this pans out the way that it looks like it's going to right now, Golden State Grizzlies are going to have an awful lot of work to do and a lot of help needed in order to make their way to the postseason. This likely defeat would pretty much seal it for them. Another single work to the onside. And my mistake, I must have missed a dot ball in there somewhere because that's the last ball of the over. So we will call it there, 45 for 4.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
The 2022 Minor League Cricket Championships are brought to you by title sponsor Toyota. Let's go places. And the place that Silicon Valley is looking to go this year is a return to Morrisville, North Carolina. Mark it on your calendars, the weekend of August 27th and 28th. We'll have the Atlantic and Pacific Conference Championship games on Saturday and the Minor League Cricket Championship Final on Sunday. It was a heck of a party last year. Looking forward to hopefully attending it myself this season. Dot ball to start over number 6, the last of the power play, and we are going to get a look here at Zia Shazad. One lifted in the air. It's going to make its way to the boundary rope on a couple of hops. Another 4 runs added to the total here for Unmukt Chand, who is now all the way up to 32 off of 18. Striking a bit quicker than we're accustomed to here within the power play, and if you're a Strikers fan, something you like to see. His recent struggles had actually dropped him from 9th to 26th in impact rating in minor league cricket, as that one is laced just barely fine of the man at long on. It's going to be another 4 back-to-back boundaries here for Chand, who wants this over with as quickly as possible. Coming into play today, the 11th most prolific 4-hitter in minor league cricket, and he's showing you how and why. Five 4s and 2 6s already to his name here. Silicon Valley still inside the power play and more than halfway to the total to get. Just 3 balls until the fielding restrictions will be, if you're a Golden State Grizzlies fan, mercifully relaxed. Zia Shazad trying to keep Unmukt in the park. Big swing and a miss. Bit of an awkward look to that there as Chand gets his balance back. Brief concerns that he might have yoinked something in the process there. With those fielding restrictions in place, the protection right now at extra cover and long off. Thought about trying to take a quick one, and they will get one off the misfield, as that gets by the substitute fielder Ruchir Joshi inside the circle. That'll be a single, and Rahul Jadiwala. Oh, excuse me, no, my mistake. That is the last ball of the over. I don't know how this keeps happening. At any rate, 9 from the over. Another pair of boundaries for Unmukt Chand, 54 for no loss as we finish the power play. .47 runs needed to finish things off today here for the Silicon Valley Strikers, and they're going to turn to a guy who's bowled 5 overs so far this season, albeit taking 3 wickets, also though conceding 60 runs. The 37-year-old Mohit Nataraj coming on from the San Pedro end. He'll face the captain Unmukt Chand first, who against all this spin bowling has gotten rid of the helmet and elected to don the sky blue cap. First delivery here from Nataraj. Well behind him, that'll be a wide. Second one tapped right back to him. Second ball bowled, first one official. Dot ball to start here against Chand. Again, the help needed if Golden State do indeed fall to defeat here today will involve them winning out and needing East Bay to lose at least twice. That is absolutely crushed to on. That one got over the boundary rope, over the grass, over the sidewalk, and to the gravel. That might be the longest shot I've seen at this ground. Unmuk Chan just pulverizing one. Okay, there's your Dauphinus shot of the match. I dare anybody to top that. There's not a whole lot of time left to do it anyhow. 61 for no loss. That one is going to again be behind the legs and a second wide of the over. Bowled here by Mohit Nataraj. But again, they would need to win out. They would need East Bay to lose probably tomorrow. That's the most likely one for them to fall. Chand will tap that. They'll take a quick single. Throw is to the wicket-keeper's end. That'll bring Jadiwala on strike. Unmuk Chand looking to close in on a half-century. As we mentioned, it had been a little bit of a rough go for him since the 104 not out that he had against San Diego. He's been over 50 one other time this season, a 94 on a not out against Hollywood Master Blasters on opening day. That one worked slightly to the offside. Jadiwala with a single. That'll bring the captain back on strike. Chand will work that off the hip to the man at long on. Another single, and the total keeps coming closer. Here comes Nataraj. Another one tapped to the onside. Nobody there. Looks like they might think about two. Unmuk Chand sends Jadiwala back. So 4 singles to finish the over after the titanic blast from Unmuk Chand. 10 off of it. That's going to be, plus the 2 wides, that's going to be 66 for no loss.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
Silicon Valley Strikers going at well over 9 runs and over at the moment in their pursuit of 100, looking to have an early afternoon. Of course, they are going to be back in action right away tomorrow when they take on those East Bay Blazers. And as we've been telling you, Golden State are going to turn immediately into big Silicon Valley fans because they are going to need the Blazers to lose that game tomorrow to have much chance of staying in this. Otherwise, they would need the Blazers to drop 2 out of 3 matches against the SoCal Lashings and Hollywood Master Blasters. And I'm not going to say that's impossible, but it's definitely improbable at this point, given the relative qualities of those teams. Rahul Jadiwala hits that one to the man at long off, a single after the dot ball to get started. Zia Shahzad in for his second over of work. Sami Aslam looking for the solution here to at least pull this back and stop the bleeding. 67 for no loss at the moment. Chand digs out a length ball. Another single to the man at long off. And so a reminder of what's coming up next week. We're going to see all 3 of the NorCal teams, Silicon Valley, Golden State, and East Bay, face off with the SoCal Lashings. We're also going to see East Bay and Golden State face off with the Hollywood Master Blasters. Lastly, Seattle Thunderbolts will be in town to face off with the San Diego Surf Riders at a point equidistant from the 2 of them. That is a tasty little edge from Rahul Jadiwala that's going to run all the way down. Too fine for third man to get to it, and a 4. The target now 29 runs away. The only scenario that sees Silicon Valley not make it is them finishing last in net run rate after losing all 3 of their remaining matches, mostly to Southern California teams, while East Bay and Seattle win out. And so for all intents and purposes, this is just about going to mathematically take care of them. Another ball worked out to the offside, another single for Rahul Jadiwala. That's going to do it for the over. Another 7 runs added to the total, 73 for no loss.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस, इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट में क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Mohit Nataraj continues from the San Pedro end here in over number 9. That's going to be another wide down the leg side. Trying to target Jadiwala's pads, but instead giving away the free run. A reminder one last time here, this run chase fueled by Lakshmi, Royal Chef's Secret extra long grain basmati rice. The official sponsor of the Silicon Valley Strikers, continue to work their way towards a total to get of 101. Single for Jadiwala to the offside. That brings Unmukh Chand on strike. He's potentially one sweet Dafanu's top shot away from a 50. Would be his first time over the half-century mark in a bit. This one might hang up for Vaghela. Nope, it has got the distance. That is over the boundary rope for a 6, and that brings up the half-century for the captain, Unmukh Chand. The applause coming from the dugouts now, and boy, oh boy, he has done it in style. 52 off 28, 5 4s, 4 6s. All but 8 of his runs coming by way of balls that either reach the boundary rope on the roll or on the fly. It is a captain's knock. That's a big swing, but he's a little out in front of that one. Perhaps a bit of pace taken off by Nataraj. That will be a single. Three balls left in the over, and the target getting ever closer. Here comes Mohit Nataraj. Jadiwala steps away, gives himself some width. There is protection out there at cover. And so just a single for the teenager. With Chand up, your deep protection at extra cover, long off, long on, mid-wicket, and backward square. So far, it almost has not mattered where anybody is. Chand hasn't even given them a chance to try to dismiss him in this match. Another single for the captain, one more ball left in the over. And just another 17 runs to pick up. That one is ripped, and it's going to split the fielders. Neither of them move, the men at long on and at mid-wicket. That is a rifle shot of a 4 for Rahul Jadiwala to close out the over. 15 from it, 88 for no loss. 9 overs down, nearly going at 10 runs and over in pursuit of a target of 101. Silicon Valley Strikers just making it look too easy right now. It'll be the right arm leg spin of Zia Shahzad on to try to limit the work here, and it's a misfield and just insult to injury as Nataraj can't come up with that out in the deep. It's going to be a bit of a giveaway 4 for Unmuk Chand. And heaven knows he has not needed help so far today. Take the opportunity as we are nearing the final drops of this one, it would appear. 9 runs now away from the total to obtain. It's a quick attempt at a run out there as Chand drifted away from his crease for just a moment. Adil's hard throw, not in time, a dot ball. Take the opportunity, of course, as always, to acknowledge Bud Jadabans here at the controls, making sure that you've got the best view at all times and that our sound is coming through. So we've again got Andrew Grindle up on the camera work, making sure that those views that are queued up by Bud Jadabans are well aimed. Speaking of well aimed, there's another excellent ball just barely wide of the man at extra cover. Another 4 for Unmuk Chand, 5 runs away now, and we'll see if he wants to finish this one in style. Absolutely marvelous knock here from Unmuk Chand. He and Rahul Jadiwala look to get this done all by themselves. That one pushed to the offside. That'll be a single for Chand. Jadiwala back on strike. Of course, we've been wanting to tell you about what's coming up next week because I've gotten very accustomed to doing just one game every weekend. But don't forget to tune in tomorrow. We've got one coming up for you tomorrow as well, as that one is worked just to the wide side here. Work to do to keep that in play, and done nicely. It'll be a pair of runs here for Rahul Jadiwala. The Silicon Valley dugout was getting ready to celebrate what looked like the winning hit. Instead, 2 more to get. And here's Jadiwala looking for it. He'll let that run off the bat towards point. Held in play, and that very simply means we're going to need at least 1 more over. 99 for no loss, 2 runs away from win number 11.
1, 2, 3.
Over number 11, and folks, it's kind of been academic here at the Morgan Hill Outdoor Sports Complex. The Golden State Grizzlies bowled out early for a total of 100. And with exactly half their deliveries used, Silicon Valley Strikers have taken care of all but 1 run of that. Unmuk Chand, if he can pick up a 2 or a boundary here, could end it in 1 swing. Looking for the rip between the fielders. They will take the 1. Let's see if they go for the 2nd. They do not. Scores are level. And it'll be up to Rahul Jadiwala to try to pick up the game-winning tally. Off of another surprise bowler, Shivam Mishra, into the attack for the first time today. That spinner is going to stay right near wicketkeeper Karan Chandel. As we said, it's all just been a little bit too easy. 63 runs for Unmuk Chand, 64 now, and there's Rahul Jadiwala upping his total to 33, and that will be the game-winning tally. 101 not out. It is a 10-wicket victory for the Silicon Valley Strikers. They move to 11-0 on the season. Their winning streak now sitting at 14 consecutive matches dating back to last year's playoffs. They get there without any other help needed. 64 from Unmuk Chand, his third score in excess of 50 this season. 7 4s and 4 6s for him. Rahul Jadiwala, 33 off of 28 balls. 4 4s for him as well in one of his best performances of the season. Not much to talk about with the bowling from the Golden State Grizzlies. They tried just about everybody and could not find a solution. No wickets taken. The first innings, as we told you, many a time dominated by the bowling for Silicon Valley. Saurabh Netravalkar taking 4 for, to go along with 2 for 9 from Roshan Primus, including a double wicket maiden, 2 for 20 for Dev Thadani. The only score really worth remarking on, 33 off 29 for Shivam Mishra, 16 off 15 for Mohit Nataraj, the only other score in double figures for them. That is going to do it for us from Morgan Hill today. We thank you for joining us for today's action. A reminder again that tomorrow we've got another matchup for you. The East Bay Blazers will take on the same Silicon Valley Strikers, hoping that they have the magic bullet to finally slay this dragon. Of course, as a reminder, East Bay Blazers have come as close as anybody else to knocking off the Silicon Valley Strikers this year. They played a match that went all the way down to the final ball and ended as a 2-run victory for the Strikers back about 3 weeks ago in the first weekend of action here in Morgan Hill. Blazers will be looking to get a leg up on Seattle, who they're currently tied with for second place, and muss up Silicon Valley's perfect record. The Strikers will be looking to officially claim the Western Division title and home field advantage for the first round of the playoffs. We hope you'll join us then. Until then, 2 p.m. tomorrow. For Andrew Grindle on the camera work, Bud Jadabans at the control, this is Joe Hickey saying so long from Morgan Hill. Till next time. Of course, 2 of the scores that are higher belong to his teammate, who will be in at 3 later on. But he and Jadiwala are going to try to postpone that for as long as possible. That one is run to mid-wicket for another 4. Small sample size so far in terms of spin versus pace. There goes Unmuk Chand, though, and he's going to go big. Over the boundary, targeting, is that brought in basically as the like-for-like replacement for Vatsal Vagela when he was away on international duty. There's another quick one, and the only thing quicker than the pace on the ball is how fast it disappears. Another 6 in the over is coming into play today, so make it 14. And finally does get that one by Vagela for a third boundary of the over. 2 6s and a 4, 16 off the frame. Protection in the deep at square leg and long off. Chand is going to spray that one just wide of the man at long off. That'll be another 4 for him. One lifted in the air. It's going to make its way to the boundary rope on a couple of hops. Him from 9th to 26th in impact rating in the in minor league cricket, as that one is laced just barely fine of the man at long on and needing East Bay to lose at least twice. That is absolutely crushed to long off, or on rather. That one got over the boundary rope, over the grass, over the sidewalk, and to the gravel. Seattle Thunderbolts will be in town to face off with the San Diego Surf Riders at a point equidistant from the two of them. That is a tasty little edge. It'd be his first time over the half-century mark in a bit. This one might hang up for Vagela. Nope, it has got the distance. That is over the boundary rope for a 6, and that brings up the half-century for the captain, Unmuk Chand. That one is ripped, and it's going to split the fielders. Neither of them move. The men at long on and at mid-wicket right now. It'll be the right-arm leg spin of Zia Shahzad on to try to limit the work here, and it's a misfield and just insult to injury as Nataraj can't come up with that out in the deep. It's going to be a bit of camera work, making sure that those views that are queued up by Bud Jadabans are well aimed. Speaking of well aimed, there's another excellent ball just barely wide of the man at...
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.